Okay, we are in progress. 2025 New Year Patient Explosion System, Part 2. Now, I hope you saw Part 1, but it's too late now because it's already January. So we're in Part 2. Now, before we get into this, when you look at this, I've done this for years. I did it in my practices. It's friggin' amazing. And I watch the level of participation of some docs, and people get in their comfort zone. Well, I want to do this and I don't want to do that. And they don't really get it. I mean, I could say it 1,000 times, but they don't really get it. And this is one opportunity. This is the number one opportunity that you have to reach more people, more families, increase your retention, affect generations than any other time of the year. The whole world consciousness is setting New Year's resolutions, and 80%, well, you'll see 79% of the people, 85% of people don't even write goals, but 79% of the people all of a sudden write resolutions. There is a shift in mindset, and this is our opportunity. So, like today, let me get to the tagline here. Sorry. I'm going to give you a blueprint that converts New Year's resolutions into record-breaking Q1 quarter. But really, it's not just quarter. This is the whole year. We're going to lay out a plan for the whole year. And so your PVA, you could easily double your PVA if you follow every step. And here's the thing, and you guys know that have been in Elite for a little bit. If you just do part of it, it works. But if you do all of it, you create an unstoppable practice. It won't matter about the economy. It won't matter what happens in politics because you become their primary healthcare provider. And that's what they do. They come to you first. And that's the person you want to create. And you create that person with intention. And it's a very narrow path. It's very narrow focus. And if you don't have that narrow focus, laser sharp, highly intense, passionate, purpose-driven, soul, S-O-U-L, soul-driven energy, then you're going to create something less. Now, that something less is very successful, and that's the problem. Success is the greatest enemy of purpose because success is your comfort zone. And, so what's your belief system? Psalm 139:16. You saw my days before they were formed, right? So imagine you're in the spirit world, and we go through this in H, honor God within yourself, and healed. You're up there in the spirit world, hanging out, watching a movie trailer of your life, and you're like, yeah, coach, put me in. I want to be a chiropractor at this time in history when everything is about to change. I want to be there. We watched this little off topic. It's on Prime. It's the series Outlander. You guys may have seen it. It's a series in 2019. Pretty cool. So as they go on later in the series, they're the woman that comes out of the future and goes in the past, and she's in the 1700s. She meets George Washington. Like, how cool would that be? Like, you already know history. Like, you're George Washington, dude. Let's talk. Like, imagine. And then she meets Benedict Arnold. It's like, wow, could you imagine? You go back. What an opportunity. This is the same thing. You have the opportunity to change history. But you don't look at it when you're just focused on building a practice. And that focused on building a practice is why it becomes hard, because you do it one at a time. When you're looking at making a historical change in people's lives, generational change, and right now is the moment, and you're 1,000% convicted and focused, and you lead with your heart, you're going to make a big difference. You're going to experience it. And why would we want to experience anything less? That's really the question, because we got one chance to go around in this life. You've been given a sacred trust. And what's that sacred trust? You're the guard and the messenger of a divine truth. We are energy beings, man. You know, organic matter needs freaking energy. That's the life force within our body. Life and health are dependent on that life force energy. That's who we are. Your patients have to understand this as an identity, not as anatomy. Now, when you're communicating it like objective facts, and I get it, some people on here, you know, most people aren't, but new people on here are just learning the scripts, and I get it. You guys did the script, and it's like, shit, man, you know, I got to memorize this script, and it comes out like a memorized script. I remember being with other coaches.
I can turn this down.
What's that? Yeah, can you mute? I might have to mute you guys. That's what I forgot to do. So the thing is, mute all. There's a great button right there. So I remember working with coaches, memorizing scripts. I'm like, God, I got to get this down because I feel like a robot. And then once you get it down, then it almost becomes a state of mind. And that's what's great about the scripts. When you go through it, it shifts and narrows your mindset. And scripts just guide the topic. But they got to get that life, health, and life force energy is who they are right in the pre-consultation. And if they don't get that, they're not going to get any of it, right? You got to tell everybody you know. Like, you know, building a practice, you know, I got a compliment from my first wife. That's another story. But I remember later, she was talking to a buddy of mine. She goes, hey, man, I talked to your wife. She was a chiropractor. And, you know, when I met her, I was already at 500 a week as an independent contractor. And, you know, I sold my patients California, moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. And you go back to where your level of mindset is really fast. So we went from zero. All we knew was our office manager and the commercial real estate broker that got our space. But we went from 0 to 500 a week in 6 months. Why? Because that was my level of consciousness. And so the thing is, anyway, she was talking to a buddy of mine. She gave me a compliment. She goes, Fred gets patients wherever he goes. Because I'm a chiropractor. My dad, yep. Am I a husband? Yep. Am I a leader? Yep. Am I a Christian? Yep. But I'm a chiropractor. That everywhere you go. I'm not a chiropractor from 8 in the morning till 7 at night. And then I go home and I'm a family man, because what do? You raise your family on chiropractic, right? You teach them the principles. You teach God gives you sovereign rights, and we don't succumb to what the world does, right? We renew our mind. We don't succumb to the world. That's why you're a chiropractor, because you are a leader. And leaders lead people to the truth. And this is it. It's the truth. You are life force energy. You decrease that energy at all, you're in the immediate state of disease. Now, if you're at 90% energy, you're not going to break down as fast if you're at 80 or 75 or 70. And anything less than 70, you already have multiple diagnoses and probably a terminal disease. And that's the way it is. And it's progressive. And it doesn't fix itself. It will not fix itself. It's like your body doesn't have enough internal energy to move your right atlas right, you know, your right atlas left, or a T5, or it's not going to move that big old L5 and take away your ulcerative colitis or whatever segment that is. You can't. It's not that you can't, because somebody could lay hands on you. You know, I mean, God is greater than anything, but typically the mindset of a person isn't strong enough to muster that much energy to change your spinal structure. So we need an outside in force. And that's what traction is in CBP. So the thing is, you got to lead people to the truth. Now, what's the truth? They're spiritual beings having a human experience. Now, they think they come in with a right ankle, a left shoulder, a headache, neck pain, back pain. What's the matter? There's 1,000 reasons, probably, I don't know. There is a finite number of reasons why they come in, but there's only one reason that you believe they came in. And that's because they are a spiritual being. Psalm 139:16, they came in with a purpose, and the probability that they're going to fulfill their God-given purpose, that they made a deal with God to be on this physical plane and contribute to humanity, is going to be far less if they're subluxated. That's why they came in. Now, they could think in their frontal lobe whatever they think. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Great. That's why you think you came in. And I'm going to tell you the truth of why you came in. And you will love it, because every spiritual being in their heart knows truth. Their frontal lobe may not be able to understand it, but that's only from ignorance. That's no different than talking to a teenager. Oh man, it's been a rough 24 hours, but so, so there's no difference. They're just teenagers in big people's bodies. An objection is only something they don't understand. It's not a barrier, it's an open door. Now, when you take that perspective and you see, because they're a spiritual being, because they know they're subluxated, because they know they want a greater connection with God and who they are in their higher self, they're going to tell me their belief system, because in their heart, they know if I don't bring this up and we don't clear it, I might be ignorant enough to walk out. And then I'll live my life subluxated. That has to be intolerable. When that becomes intolerable, I know Tim's iPhone, talking to Tim's iPhone. I know, Tim, you're like that. I know, Susie, you're like that. Steve, you got the principal like that. There are definitely elite people that are like that. And then there's CVP people where, they're selling spinal correction. So we got to beat on them a little bit longer. You will get there. Leaders have courage to do what? Because it takes courage to tell people what they need to hear rather than what you think they can accept. That takes courage. That takes leadership. So I always saw it metaphorically like Moses. What did Moses do, man? He sat in front of the, finally, after 40 years in the desert and a self-esteem problem, he's staring at the mountain with the glowing at the top. And then one day he decides. And that's all it is. He decided, I'm finally going up to the mountain. 40 years in the desert. So he was a general in the Egyptian army, right? Kills somebody, kills a Egyptian soldier, gets cast out in the desert. Well, that's the world. I mean, we could have everything. I talked to a chiropractor today, very successful Canadian, sets up a clinic in Texas, great clinic, goes back to visit her parents in Canada, and the US won't let her back in the country during COVID. She loses everything. Another doctor, because says she can't come back, steals her clinic. That's no different than being cast out in the desert. But what are you going to learn? But she still has principle. So I'm going to work with her. It takes courage to climb the mountain and say, I'm ready now. I am committed. Now, what's he do? He's human. He goes up there. The bush is burning. What's your name again? First of all, take off your sandals, pal. Come on, dude. You're on sacred ground. Who should I say? What's this? I'm gonna get the Jews out of Egypt. Yeah, you might want to find somebody else. That's your life purpose. And sometimes our purpose is so big. You need God's help. Right? And then what does Moses say? Well, I'm slight of speech. Suppose they had a speech impediment, stutter, or whatever. I don't know. I'll be your mouth. Where's your faith? God can be your mouth when you speak from your heart. And that's something I did before every workshop. I would go lock myself in the bathroom. And I would pray. I go, God, I have no idea what they need to hear. I mean, I got a bunch of slides up there, but you know what they need to hear. And you be my mouth. because I could say one thing that could change their belief system, and they're going to sign up their family. So that's where you learn to surrender your own self, your own will, your own ego. Now, trust me, I could go out in my life and I had all kinds of problems. I had all kinds of self-esteem problems, but my hand hit the door. I was God's servant. And so I was able to build big practices despite myself, despite my MY lowercase SELF, to tap into my higher capital S God self. More courageous and honestly loving you are, the more they will follow you. The more you are just courageous and tell them what they need to hear, and that's where, the one-liner we say is, when you want to be liked and accepted, when you give up the need, sorry, I haven't said this one in a while. When you give up the need, that's a human emotional need, to be liked and accepted, you gain the gift of being loved and respected. And those are people that will stay with you. You just got to give up yourself. That's not that hard. So the calendar only gives us this opportunity once a year, man. We are here. That's it. So let's align with calendar and the mindset of the general public. So what's the mindset? New Year creates a fresh start. I said on one of the videos that I was talking about this week, should I go in the gym, man? It's packed. It's the first week of January. Like, okay, all you guys, wait 6 weeks and we'll be back to normal. So it's a fresh start. These are all the people with resolutions that are going to quit. 100% of your patients will set New Year's resolutions. So your patients, now they may not write them down because they already have a plan for their health. But guess what happens? 79% of the general public actually sets goals when 85% of the general public don't write down goals. Don't you find that amazing? Now, when you look, okay, 15% write goals, what percent of those 15% actually go back and read them? You're in the single digits, maybe 5%. Why? Because they don't have a plan. They don't have discipline. They don't know how to do it. 88% of that 79% are going to give up in 2 weeks. Why? 9% follow through for a year. 9. That's it. Why? If there's not immediate results, people get discouraged. It's that immediate gratification, which is why you need to do rewards and set long-term goals. They didn't know how to do it, so they lose sight, right? But you have a plan. This is what they want. They're craving it. They just don't know that you do it. Now, your patients know that you do it, but if you're selling healthcare, like you have a problem, I just did Chiro Mafia this morning with Joe Borio, and that's what we were talking about. We're talking about getting rid of the pain game, man. And that's what management groups teach. Ms. Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life? And all this stuff. Like when I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina from California, everybody plays golf. So I got these guys, early 40s. Man, dog, my back hurts. I got to win money off my golf buddies this Saturday. It'd be like Tuesday. Okay, come every day. And they didn't care about I want to win money. I want to win money. Great. So you know what? I succumbed to them. They would come back on Monday with a wallet full of cash. On Tuesday, they were gone. Because I didn't have the discipline back then. And it works like that all the time. And I can explain psychological reasons why, but I'm not going into it right now. So here's where we're going to turn the resolutions into reality. So let's align with the calendar and the mindset of the general public. People need to progress in life. They seek it. This is a human need. There's 6 human needs I learned from Tony Robbins, and you guys probably know him. The 5th one is growth. If they're not growing, they won't stay. And then let's go another Tony Robbins, progress, not perfection. As long as people are progressing, they'll be happy. They'll have more fulfillment. And this is why we don't call the optimal life plan. Well, we do call it that, but it's why we don't call it maintenance. Why? Because maintenance is boring. There's no progress in maintenance. What are you going to do? Stay the same? That's why they quit. You call it maintenance, you just told them why to quit. Another thing that we moved away from is calling it wellness. Why? Because it's too subjective. Their impression of wellness, which we're going to talk about in a couple slides here, is very different than what's actually health and healthy and an optimal life. That's why once they get into lifestyle, it's called the optimal life plan. Why? It's the plan that you can have the best life, not maintenance or just your impression of wellness, but an optimal best life that you were called to live. They don't always know how to do it. Proverbs 29:18, where there's no vision, people perish. This is human behavior of long-term change. Pleasure is long-term change, and a vision is long-term change. How do you know? You're living it. Well, what you get married. You get married because you have common core values, you're in love. What do you plan? We want to have a family. We want to have a bunch of kids. We want to do this. Why? Because you have values and a purpose. And, Sergeant family, I believe 5 kids. Tim, 8 kids. Tom Holt, 8 kids. Like, wow. That is way beyond my realm. That's courage. And Tim's probably going, no, that's stupidity, even though you love your kids. I'm just teasing. Help them establish a vision that aligns with their values. One of the reasons people quit or they don't accept care, it doesn't align with their values. And then help them establish a life and soul purpose, and they become unstoppable. This is how Tony Robbins gets people across 2,000-degree coals. The first time I went to Unleash Power Within, and I went not to go across the coals. I went there because I already had 10 years of NLP, and I knew he's an NLP guy. I want to see how you get 8,000 people you don't know. What system are you using? Because when I can do that, chiropractic's going to explode. And that's our model. It's a new model, right? I would say a more advanced model. And so, man, the first time I went through, you get in this unstoppable state. Why? Because they give you purpose. And I remember blasting across there, man, and I was charging. So at the end of the coals, 2 guys hit me in the arms, like they hook your forearms. And I swear, if there was a brick wall, I would have walked right through it. Like, you can get in this unstoppable state where it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I couldn't believe that it felt like I was walking across my lawn on a spring morning. And then all of a sudden they stopped me, and I kind of came into my consciousness, and I felt something burning. And I looked down, I had this red hot coal between my toes. I immediately looked up, put myself in that state, didn't feel it anymore, and they washed it out. No blisters. It was red hot between my toes. Like, I wouldn't want to go on a Saturday afternoon and pull out one of those briquettes, and just casually place a red hot briquette between my toes. It shows you the power of your mind. That's what we have to tap into. But you have to tap into that within yourself. Because if you can't tap into that, how can you influence people to bring that out? Every human being has that within them because they are a spiritual being. And consciousness is greater than matter. But you have to get in that consciousness first. Give them positive dopamine rewards, and they will live chiropractic for a generation. So we're going to go into that. And that's what you guys are going to learn at this upcoming boot camp in Salt Lake. So what's the theme? Now, the theme here is patient explosion, but in your clinic, make 2025 the healthiest year of life. We transform resolutions into reality. I think that's a pretty good tagline. Establishing the foundation. So we're going to make 2025 the healthiest year of your life. Why is in quotes? This is what you're going to tell people. This is what we are 1,000% committed to, which means by January 2026, you're going to be 1 year older, but you can be 3 to 5 years younger physiologically. Is that what you want? Why is this true? Well, your body turns over every 4 months. So when you're at 100% energy, your body is making the new cells that it's recreating are stronger than the old cells. The DNA things are working better, right? You make better cells. So when I used to give a workshop, I would call 4 months a regenerative cycle. So when someone came in with ulcerative colitis or whatever, I would say like something like that, like a disease, I would say you need to go through 4 to 6 regenerative cycles. So what's 4 to 6 times 4? And they would go 24. I go, that's how many months it's going to take for your organs to turn over 4 to 6 times, where you're going to have a new set of lungs. Asthma will not be present. You will have lungs that are stronger, younger, and healthier in 4 to 6 months than you do today. Now, what did I just do? I just set a 2-year timeline. Now, what else did I do? Hey, my asthma really kicks in the spring. You know what? It's January. We're going to put you on a more intense program. We're going to bump you up to 4 times a week because you start getting your allergies and asthma and you need your inhaler all the time and medication in April. No. No, we're not doing that this year. We're going to put you on 4 times a week. We're going to make max changes, and you're not going to have this allergy problem this year. Now, why would I say that? Well, after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, Steve, you know this, your principal, Susie, Tim, I mean, geez, having allergies go away. Like, my God, how easy is that? You didn't have to fix their spine. You just got to clear their atlas a little bit and their allergies go away, So that's what you're telling me. You're talking about regenerative cycles, right? You're transforming resolutions to reality. This is your purpose. If a person feels a calling to get healthier, why would they feel a calling to get healthier? Because they know they're not, and their spirit is edging them, but their frontal lobe doesn't know how, and that's why they quit. These people are your responsibility. So now when you look at 8 out of 10 people in the population are my responsibility, and you take that in your heart, you're going to talk to people wherever you go. And it doesn't mean you're going to walk up to a stranger and go, hey, have you ever been to a chiropractor? It's so amazing. Like when you're so loving and you walk around like that, I use this it's actually a real live example, but when you're really loving, everywhere you go, and this is out of the Healed seminar, Exercise Loving Yourself and Others, there's something in everyone that you can find something you like. You may not compliment them on their dress or their hairdo, but when you look in their eyes, you see a child of God. There's something you can like about them. And if you compliment them and find something to appreciate, one, you make yourself more loving, and 2, they smile. And everybody loves a smile. It's like, hey, man, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. I walk my dog down by the beach. Hey, what's going on? Well, everything's great, but, my shoulder's been bugging me. Like this stuff comes up out of the blue. You guys probably experience it, and I'll be walking with Molly, my wife, and we just look at each other and we laugh because they bring it up all the time. Why? Because I'm a chiropractor 24/7. And so when you take on that identity, I mean, yes, you're a person. Yes, you're a child of God, but it's always in the forefront. Now, you don't have to be thinking about it, but when you exude that and you exude that you're a healer, which is chiropractic, then people show up, they want to be healed. And that's one of the mantras, right? When you become a healer, people will show up to be healed. And they'll show up on a sidewalk. They'll show up in a line of a grocery store. They'll show up in your clinic. So we're going to establish a new reference point with health conditions by doing a consultation when we do our re-exams. So you're going to re-exam every patient in your practice within the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then what you're going to do, you're going to x-ray people that haven't been x-rayed for 6 months or more. So these are people, well, they come once a month, you know, and they just show up, may not be on the same day, but they just show up or they're pretty regular. And they just do it because they like you and it's a habit. And if you ask them why they do it, they'll just say, well, I feel better, or well, it helps my back pain. But you haven't x-rayed them in 6 months. And then you become their once a year doctor. So what we do is everybody gets x-rayed in their first month, because it's shocking what you haven't been paying attention to. Now, Tim, you've been with me for a while, right? So you guys already have implemented this, because this isn't the first time we're going through this. Steve, you guys are implementing this in Al's office. Susie, you're doing that. So, and then we'll talk with you guys, Travis and Grant. Make a video. I would make a video and send it out on your list with an irresistible offer. Like maybe a consultation exam is on you, and, you know, put out this theme, because you will inspire people, because that's what's different. When you look at your inactive list, why would someone come back to you when they already know what you do and they quit? You have to show them, this is what we're doing that's different, and how's it going to benefit them. They're going to come in because their benefit, telling them the logic of what you're doing, they don't care about you, right? They care about them. So what's their benefit? Whenever you want to motivate people, they have to have a benefit. If they don't have a benefit, you're not influencing them. Well, you are, just not in a positive way. So here's a re-exam form, right? So you're going to use this, and you want to monitor the percent improvements. Why? Or percent of subjective complaints. Why? Well, then, because we want to set a reference point. So let's go where that is. Sorry. We'll have them right there. We're going to have them write their health goals after the re-exam. So we set a reference point to launch them into more inspiration. Now, last time we went through 5 questions you're going to ask, and these are their goals. So people, you know, they did what they were supposed to. They made a Word document, and they're just handing it out on the daily visit, and they're whatever, and then talking to them. And then the problem is you don't have a reference point. Because the first question, what do you want your health to be like? Well, what are they going to do? Well, I want it to be good, doc. That's why I come here. Boring. No boring answers. But when we see, you know, you've recovered 60% of your health. Now, when someone gets 60% of their health back and their energy back, they feel like a new person. They think they're healthy. No, 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 no. The bar that you got to jump over is 90%. So that's what you're reframing. Hey, 60%, you're still recovering your health. I mean, you feel like a new person now. You don't even know what 90% is. 90% energy and health, those two are related. 90% life energy and health, you've probably never experienced that in your 52 years. So if you feel so amazing at 60%, would you want to feel 90? Imagine what 90 is going to be like. Disease will not be possible. How would you feel? What kind of level of confidence would you have in the strength and health of your body? Well, it'd be unbelievable. Yeah, don't you want to be unbelievable? Except now you believe it because now you're living it. Don't you want to be at that level? Yeah, so now fill out these goals. You can't settle for mediocrity. That's why you have to be unstoppable first. Use the current level of health as a realistic catapult. It's all it is a reference point. You don't know the path to get from point A to point B until you know what point A is. You know, you can communicate point B, but if you don't know what point A is, then you don't know how to get them to point B. You don't know how to communicate to them. This is especially important with patients that come in less frequently, like the once a monthers that haven't been x-rayed. You know, when was the last time you knew all the health problems of patients who've been coming to you for years once a month? And you think about that, it's like, oh my God, man, you're going to do a consultation, and because they come in once a month, and which wasn't enough based on their initial level of correction and lifestyle to keep them unsubluxated, And it may be scary, like, oh my God, I've been taking care of you for 5 years, once a month, and you have 12 health problems, and you're on 2 different medications. How many patients have come in? Doc, I've been going to chiropractors for 40 years. I go once a month, no matter what, and they're all proud of themselves. And then you look at their patient application, like, you don't look any different than anybody else that comes in. Like, I mean, great that you're getting, jump starting your battery once a month, but geez, nobody corrected you. They just did symptoms, and then they let you come in once a month, and you think that's good, but your health profile doesn't look any different than the general public. Is that the type of person that we want talking chiropractic out in the world? I didn't want that. So now we got to change their belief system. Establish the level of health for each patient. Any level of health less than 90% sucks. Doesn't say suck on there, but less than 90% resolution of all health problems is not health. That is not health. You got to raise the bar, man. And I know you guys know this already. They're still in the health recovery phase. Anything less than 90%, you're still recovering your health. Done. That's why it's called health recovery. Now, what's health recovery? Crisis care, corrective care, stabilization. So here's the 5 questions. So what do you want your health to be like, by January 2026? Now you use the health conditions from the re-exam to establish a new reference point to work from. Well, you're at 60% now. I mean, that's great. Your asthma is 60% better. I mean, geez, you're 42 years old. You've had asthma since you were 15. You played football, you thrashed the crap out of your spine. Maybe you were a gymnast. Your spine never developed normally. That's why your lungs are weak, fell on your head. You had about 8 million whiplashes and compression injuries being a gymnast or playing football when you were young. Your spine never developed normally. You're 42 years old, and your body has healed more in 3 months and 6 months and 9 months than it healed the first 42 years. So now you think you're amazing. You're only 60%. I want to know where you want to be by January 2026. Because right now you're at 60% January 2025. And don't settle for mediocre answers. There's only superlative answers. Now, what do you want your health or your family to be like? Well, we're going to introduce generational patterns, right? This is the consultation. We're going to go through generational patterns on the next slide. Health patterns and posture patterns run in families. For you guys that take x-rays, I mean, how many times have you x-rayed a parent, you look at their kid, you practically overlay their spine. It just is. And so I'm going to show you how to do that on the next slide. We're going to go into more detail on question 2. So what do you want to be doing physically, mentally, emotionally? What do you want to be capable of? Now, the reframe for pain is have confidence in the strength and health of your body for the rest of your life. People don't buy what they can do. And this is why management groups, and I got taught the same thing. Ms. Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life? Well, I can't pick up my kids. I mean, I use the same metaphor every time. I'll think of a different one eventually. I don't feel like a good mom, blah, blah, blah. Pain's going, Doc, you're the greatest. I signed up for the first 36 visits, but you know what? I'm busy. Kids have sports. I feel great. I can pick them up. You're amazing. I'll come back when my back hurts. And you're like, wait. And then what do we do? We're going to go through this in the Salt Lake City boot camp. So what do coaches tell us? Well, Miss Jones, if you stop coming, your pain's going to come back. Right? Well, what we're going to go through are the 4 areas of the brain. Pleasure is long-term change. Avoidance of pain is not long-term change. And again, I usually say this. I mean, I lost thousands of patients. Well, if you quit, it's going to come back. Yeah, I don't care. Like I never said that. Well, if you come back, if you don't do this, it's all going to come back. Well, why didn't you tell me, Doc? I'm just going to sign up for the rest of my life. Can I bring my 6 kids in? I don't care how much it costs because this is our healthcare lifestyle. Never one time. So what will be important to you? So what can you do? Sorry, let's back up. So think about this. You're going to ask them, what do you do that you would like to do more of, but you don't do more because you don't have confidence in the strength and health of your body? What would you do if you have 100% confidence in the strength and health of your body if you're not doing now, but you would really love to get back to doing it? Right? And then why? That's confidence in the strength and health of your body. So Jared, who is on here, let's see, Jared, are you still there? Where's my cursor? So we just went through this.
Sure.
Gary, Jared was on there, right? We just had a coaching call right before this. Well, this guy is an attorney, trains hard. He's doing his home care twice a day, coming for 2 weeks, feels better. Well, can I stop? And I said, well, what's his goal? Well, he wants pain to go away. So basically I'm paraphrasing, so he can do what he wants. That's the problem. Because as soon as they can do it, they think they can do it forever. Right? So how do you handle that? Well, I thought you came here because don't you want confidence in the strength and health of your body? I mean, why can't you do whatever this is that he doesn't want to do? Why can't you do it? Because you're injured. So you want to get back to doing it. Well, what are you going to feel like in your body when you're doing it? Would you believe you're going to have more confidence in the strength and health of your body? Yeah, you want temporary confidence? We're like, it's great until I get re-injured. Like, it's great, but now I can't do it again. Right? Or do you want to have, it's great, but you know what? Now I have a disease. And even though I think I'm physically capable, now I have a disease. Or do you have confidence in the strength and health of your body where that's not a worry anymore, ever? How do you want to live? 4, why will this be important to you? These are their values, right? So why do the answers of the first 3 questions, why would they be important to you? They're going to write down what they value. When you align with their core values, then chiropractic becomes a way they live a fulfilling life. They'll go through temporary pain to live a fulfilling life. How do you know? Well, who's married? Who has kids? There's short-term pain. Why? Because you have a bigger vision and a goal. Now, what purpose will that fulfill? Now, this came from 1, that's how Tony gets you crossfire. 2, I went to Business Mastery. How do you create lifelong raving fans? 93% of Americans don't know their purpose. Yet purpose comes from dopamine. So when they're on purpose, they're more inspired. Now, this is out of Harvard Medical School and the American Psychiatric Association. People on purpose, they live a more fulfilling life. They tend to be generally happier. They're healthier. They live longer. People without a purpose, they don't live as long. They tend to be sicker. When things happen in their life, they stay in depression longer. It's the same thing with people that don't have a spiritual foundation. So when you have a spiritual foundation and purpose, you're going to live the most fulfilling life. Does that mean you're not going to undergo stress? Heck no. But you do it anyway. You get out of it faster, right? You become unstoppable. So generational patterns happen 100% of the time, right? So there's 7 questions. So when we go back to question 2, what do you want the health of your family to be like? We're talking about generational patterns. Look, generational patterns happen 100% of the time. But you're going to do this in the conversation anyway. Who'd you get it from? Who are you giving it to? First 2. They got it from their mom, dad, aunt, uncle, cousins, whatever. Well, aunts, uncles. Who are you giving it to? Do they have kids? Minimally one of their kids have it. Which one of your kids is following the pattern? So parents are obviously older. They're further down the timeline of disease. What's that mean? They've been subluxated longer. What's that mean? The energy's been shut down longer. What's that mean? They have a more progressive health problem. So what's that mean? Well, someone may have, what if they have autoimmune, migrating joints, you know, whatever, digestive problems, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid. You know, those are autoimmune. What is their 5-year-old kid going to have? Recurrent colds and flus, maybe asthma, allergies. So I used to say this in a workshop: allergies as a child is cancer as an adult. Why? Because you hold those subluxations, you're going to run your immune system into the ground. 1 out of 3 people die of cancer. That means how many of the 3 actually get cancer and still live? Right? That's why they need to be under your care. Read the Back to Health book. Talks about cancer in one of those, weakened immune system. So what if they say, so which one of the patterns? So you're going to ask, look, which one of your kids, you find the pattern. What's the immune system? Has allergies, ear infections. What if it's a kid under 3? They probably have ear infections, sinus problems. You know, so you look at the timeline of the kids and then you name the conditions that are related. But they say, well, my kids are healthy. Well, how do you want to handle the healthier family? Do you want to take the medical approach, watch and wait until they get a diagnosis? Yep, they're healthy. You know, I'll take them in when they have a disease. And then you're going to scramble in a crisis to help them. Is that what you want to do? You want to do the medical model? What? Let's watch and wait until they get sick. Or would you rather identify it, correct it, a generational pattern, so they never get a disease? How do you want to handle the healthier family? Which one? They'll go, well, I'd rather get in the beginning. Great. Who do you want to start with? Make an appointment that moment. That's how you handle and get new patients immediately when they're writing these goals. So now you're going to make gift certificates. Make 2025 the healthiest year of your life. I don't have a picture of a gift certificate. Turning resolutions into reality. That's what you're going to have. You're going to have your name. You're going to have whatever it is that you offer, but don't put an amount, like don't put consultation exam worth $250. That's not compliant, but tell them what they get, put your information, put a line for the referral source and a line for the patient. So one thing I used to do, I thought it was a pretty good idea. But this was before compliance said you can't give away more than 20 bucks or whatever it is. I wrote a check and I would say $250. And then I would write the referral's name. So not the referrer, like the referrer, I would put in the memo. We would sign the check or stamp our clinic name. And I would write the person they wanted to refer, I would write their name on it. And I would say, you have a $250, let them know they have a $250 credit waiting in our clinic in their name. So that means they get $250 worth of free services. What's that? Consultation exam. Man, we got so many patients from that. And that's what we did when Make 2025 the healthiest year of your life. We wrote them a check. Now you got a check for 250 bucks and you got a credit. What's the probability they're going to show up? Hey, I thought it was a great idea. I was pretty impressed with myself. Patients give their family members immediate and extended family. Immediate first, right away, within a week, then extended family. Why? Because the purpose is to break generational patterns. You know, you got their kids, but then you got an aunt with MS. You know, you got a cousin with allergies. You got a cousin going to a pediatrician getting vaccinated. You know, it's incongruent. Everybody within the reach of every patient is your responsibility. So when I finally figured out how I really wanted to grow my practice, I realized I can't get them one at a time. I got to get them 10 at a time. So with every person that walked in, I saw 10 spirits around them. Now, if I can get a name, they can manifest in my clinic. Because once I say their name, I'm putting creative energy out into the universe. God was there in the void. He spoke the universe into existence that is a quantum universe, meaning like it responds to words and sounds, and matter conforms according to your attention. They've already proven that, right? Shooting photons through a vacuum. So we go through this with Heal too. So that's kind of cool. Give it to friends and coworkers who are setting health resolutions. 8 out of 10, baby. You know, take advantage of it. Give them a purpose to contribute to the lives of others. And that's the thing. You know, that's one of the mantras. We don't create patients, we create leaders. Why? Because leaders have purpose. Why? Because they probably don't have any other purpose. So when their purpose becomes change healthcare and you can contribute to the lives of others, you don't have a right to keep it to yourself. Your God-given responsibility is to contribute to humanity. You don't have a right to keep it to yourself. Now, if you're a customer service person, well, you know, I don't like asking for referrals. Well, then you don't like to help people. You know, I was on a coaching call. I was coaching acupuncturists last week. Well, I don't know why, you know, I just want people to feel good, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, how do I grow my practice? Well, you got to love people. And she's a very loving person. So I wanted to pattern interrupt her. And she goes, I love people. I go, no, you don't. You love yourself more. No, I don't. She started to get pissed. And I go, if you cave to your fear more than taking responsibility for them, you love your fear and you love yourself more. And that's the truth. Now, trust me, I'm not saying that because I'm arrogant. I'm trusting because that's who I was. There was a point where, well, I don't know, are they going to like it? La, 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 la. And then when I decided, you know what, screw that, man. I love people more than I love myself. So I'm going to tell them what they need to hear. And, you know, the decision happened in a moment. Learning to communicate happened over time. Definitely some trial and error. But I mean, shit, after 27 years of studying human behavior, there ain't going to be a whole lot of error if you talk from your heart. But you got to love the person more than you love yourself. How do you do that? By serving God. What are the two greatest commandments? Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, right? Then love your neighbor as yourself. And then, you know, it's so funny because in the Bible later, it's like, you know, Jesus later in the Bible or in one of the later books, and he says, okay, look, now imagine being Jesus, you know, where it's like, oh my God, these people don't get it. Love your neighbor as thyself. And then he probably figured out pretty quick, they don't even know how to love themselves. Like, this is ridiculous. And then later he says, just love like I have loved you. Strategic pause. Love like I have loved you. Do you put yourself in a Christ consciousness before the first person walks in? And that's a divine consciousness. This isn't religion. It's a divine, godlike consciousness. And that means you'll tell them what you need to tell them in a way that's loving, but it's going to pattern interrupt them. That's how you build a big practice. That's how you get them 10 at a time, right? That's leadership. Then we go to the workshops. So you're going to teach 4 workshops in a row every week. You're going to make the title, Make 2025 the Healthiest Year of Your Life. We transform resolutions into reality. Why? So we get rid of the Youth and Vitality workshop, and all we do is this, right? So like, well, I don't have that workshop. Well, all you got to do is adapt the intro and the close. The whole workshop is still a chiropractic workshop. The meat, the middle of the workshop is all the same because that's how you make it the healthiest year of your life, right? So you adapt the intro and close. You encourage patients to bring everyone they know that has set health resolutions, or they're going to quit in 2 weeks. But if they set them, they have a desire and they're searching for a plan. So give your patients purpose to help the people around them become more successful in life. And as human beings, we crave to be in a tribe. That's why when you get an elite, you refer your friends so you can go through it together. And you're going to build at the boot camps, you're going to build relationships with other people. You guys know that. We're a family. you want to refer people to bring your friends in. One, there's not another system like this, but two, you want to go through it in a group, man. It's more fun. Set goals for attendance with guests at a 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1 patients to guests. I mean, you should do this on your weekly workshop anyway, but we're going to raise the numbers. I remember I gave a new patient workshop to 50 people once, and it wasn't because I got 50 new patients. It's because I had a patient that was so fired up about chiropractic lifestyle. She was in a MLM group, and she brought 49 other people with her, and I gave a special workshop. There was just a new patient workshop for 50 people, and we signed up a bunch of people. Why? She had purpose. She wanted to make a change in healthcare. Promote it in the community, social media, local businesses that you have a relationship with. You're going to promote it everywhere. Give immediate family, get immediate family in the first week, then extended family, then friends and coworkers through the workshop. Sign up everyone, man. I'll go through the close with you. So we got to create a health movement. So we're going to go to decision makers and businesses and get a common purpose. So what businesses would people go to with back pain? Yoga, Pilates, gyms. What businesses have health as a core value? Nutrition stores, naturopaths. We're going to go to businesses, and I'll show you how to do this. We have a whole teleconference on it. And we're going to align. We're going to say, hey, here's what we're doing. We want to make this year the healthiest year of your life. I'm looking for businesses that want to, in a sense, circle the wagons, where we can create a network where we share this purpose and we share our people. And then what do? See, and this was in 2007, 2008. Remember the recession we had? Well, I was already teaching all this in Elite, right? And Elite is relationship based. Well, so many chiropractors were going out of business and their practice was declining. Elite docs were breaking all-time records. Why? Because it was relationship-based. And when economy gets tough, advertising isn't as strong. You know, people don't respond to advertising, but they respond with referrals. Hey, go to this guy. He's a trusted guy. So relationship-based makes you unstoppable. And that's lifelong relationships with the patients. Align the businesses that are health related, 6-step system. Get a gift. Hey, so what we're looking for people that donate gifts. We're going to have this big event, and we want to promote your business, right? Solve their problem. Well, if it's a gym, by the way, we have a train the trainers program. We talk about the latest research in spinal biomechanics that isn't available for your trainers. Would you like us? You have them once a month. Would you like me to come in for 15 minutes? What if it's a restaurant? Hey, I know you got to meet OSHA requirements and talks on safety. When's your next safety meeting? Do you normally pay people to come in and speak? Well, I'll do it as a community service since we're going to work together. You know, so there's, depending on the business, solve their problem. Then you get the manager or the decision maker, the owner, as a patient. Because once you make them a committed patient, then you can get to their team. So then you go in, be a loyal customer. So when we get restaurants, then, hey, if I went out to dinner, well, let's go over here. Take my wife out to there or whatever. And then you get the waitress. Hey, you know, your manager, Joe, whatever, is a patient of ours. Yeah, I'm the chiropractor for your restaurant. Have you ever been to a chiropractor? I notice you work on your feet, you know. Get into a conversation and sign them up. Because now that the manager is the patient, they have more trust and rapport. Yeah, I'm the car. So before I even, you know, I might have just the manager, and I would go tell the whole team, go to the car wash, pay at the register. Yeah, I'm the chiropractor for your whole team. Really? Oh my God, I didn't know that. Yeah, have you ever been to a chiropractor? Sign them up while you're paying for your car wash. Their team promotes you to their customers, and you refer your patients to their business. So that's the coupon drawer, right? Hey, you had a great re-exam, or you referred somebody, or you know what, you make all your appointments, man. We got a patient that does car detailing. hey, we work, the team over here is at the bowling alley. Here's a couple of gift certificates. You know, they give me a boatload of gift certificates. And I want to take family bowling this weekend. You know, so I would go, hey, man, I want to give you a gift. And I would open up the coupon drawer. Well, you can get your haircut. You can go here. You want to do yoga? What do you want to do, man? Look at all these prizes we got in here. Tell me what you want. Well, I want to get my car washed. All right, great guy. Ask for Jim. I'd staple my business card to it. Tell Jim, the manager, that we sent you over there. And then I would go over there a few days later. Hey, we had our patient, you know, Roy, come in here. Did he come and talk to you guys? Yeah, we sent 3 patients over last week. Because what if the manager wasn't there? Yeah, I'm just getting my car washed today. You guys are amazing. You end up with the whole team. Why? Because you just love people and you build relationships. Like, how can you not build a practice when you do stuff like that? And then it'd be Friday night. Like, I don't want to go home and cook. You know, all right, well, I'm going to go on the coupon drawer and get a 2-for-1 dinner and take my wife out to dinner tonight. I mean, sure, I use the coupons half the time, or your team uses them, you know, but then they become loyal customers. That's pretty funny. And then you have an in-office event. So probably if you do this all of January, somewhere in February, you're going to have an in-office event. Of course, you got Valentine's Day. That's another whole theme. This is a 4 to 6 week promotion, 6 weeks. Have businesses donate gifts and then raffle them off. So if you have 15 gifts, and every 15 minutes you put all the gifts in the fishbowl, and here's what you do. When your patients show up, they put a ticket or their name in the fishbowl. If they show up with a guest, maybe they put their name in 3 times. If they show up with 2 guests, they get to put it 3 times for the first guest, 5 times for the second. That means their name is in there 9 times. So the more guests they bring in, the higher the probability they're going to win something cool. So I remember we did this one time, and I was in Seattle, Washington, and we gave away a weekend at a 5-star chalet in Whistler. That was our grand prize. So do you think people brought people in and wanted to put their name in friggin' 20 times? Absolutely. So what if it cost me $1,200? Well, I just got 3 referrals from this one person, not to mention everybody else. Like, it pays for itself. So that was cool. Invite owners, managers, and now you invite the businesses that are donating, you invite them to your event. So what do? They get to set up a table, promote the event. Now you have managers, decision makers, and some team members in your clinic. Does it get any easier? Sign them up for an appointment. I'd be like, hey, because we're working together, man, I'll do consultation, exam, and x-rays for free. I don't care. Because by the time you take them through the day 1, day 2, they're in. Have business teams promote their event in their business. So you want to get that list. And if you're going to do a 6-week promotion, you want them promoting it and promoting the event that's going to happen a month from now. So they're promoting it to their customers. Now, if they're under care, they're going to have a testimonial as they promote. Invite all your patients that day, man. Make it fun, shoulder to shoulder. They're gonna bring guests. You're gonna set up appointments, have music, cater food. Now, this is all the money that you spend. So you want to make it fun. When I used to do, I always had themes. We never called it Patient Appreciation Day. I hooked up with this one guy, big old truck, and he used to tow this big old barbecue, man. And he ate burgers and dogs and ribs and steaks. And the food was amazing, and we'd have like the face painter, and I always hired live music. We had a chamber event once, and I had a 3-piece jazz band, and a wine store just opened up right in the shopping center across the street. So I went over to the wine store and I said, hey, look, we're going to have like 150 people here. So if you're willing to give free wine then I know I'm going to encourage our patients to buy bottles of wine. And that's what happened. So I paid $350 for a jazz band and had like 100 people or whatever, over 100 people drink it for free. I didn't pay for the wine. So look, man, leverage, be creative, make it fun. There you go, make it fun, see? Health, recovery, and optimal life plan. Each patient must reach 90% correction and begin lifelong health. That's it. So 3 times a week, until 90% spinal correction. They have 100% energy going through there, keeping them in the state of health. You know, it's 90% correction and 90% resolution of their health problems. 6 months of stabilization, that's 1 time a week. Then based on your level of correction lifestyle, we're going to determine the frequency to keep you and your family 100% healthy, live the life that they wrote in their goals. So you're going to set them up till January 2026. They're going to have an outlined program. Pull out their goals, monitor their progress. So at every re-exam, hey, look, you're 60% there. Look at the improvement, man. Look at the confidence and the strength and health of your body. Hey, you said you wanted to do this. Have you been trying it? You know, what's going on? Have you tried it out lately? Do you feel like you have confidence? Do you want to wait? Do you feel like you're strong enough yet? So what are you doing? You're keeping them progressing. And then what you're going to learn at boot camp too, you know, we have the rewards when they get off their drugs, correction of the month, you know, the lifetime health ball. And you're setting short-term goals as well as long-term goals. Do this every year and condition them to look forward to each year. Here's the deal, a new vision for their life, a new level of health. So you start this year and guess what you're going to do? You're going to help them create an amazing life. And then about November, at the end of this year, what are you doing? Hey, we're doing this January 26th, man. You know, look, you are younger and healthier. You had 18 health problems when we started in January. You're down to 3. Your body has literally regenerated disease right out of your body. You are at least 3 years physiologically younger. Your energy's better. Like, man, you're freaking amazing. But guess what we're going to do in January? We're going to do it again. And then we're going to do it in 27. We're going to do it again. So every year, you and your family and your friends have a plan that's going to help you live an amazing life without fear of disease, that you're going to live who God created you to be. And we are 1,000% committed to it. And we're partners, right? Yep. That's what you do. You're conditioning them to do this every year for the rest of your life. That's lifestyle, by the way, in case you haven't figured that out yet. So now what are you doing? Imagine this. You're getting new patients 3 years from now. Why? Because in 2028, what are they going to be doing? Well, you know, what are you going to write for healthy New Year's health resolutions? Or what are they going to do? You know, what are they going to talk about in June? Hey, man, I make a plan with my chiropractor every year. Man, I've gotten so much stronger, younger, and healthier. They're going to use your language that you're conditioning with. My energy's through the roof. Literally, every year I feel younger than the year I did before. And I do this every year with my chiropractor. Oh, by the way, do you set health resolutions at New Year's? Because they turn resolutions into reality and a life. And that's what my chiropractor does. No other doctor has done that with me except this, and it's amazing. My family is healthier than ever been. Do you want that? Come to my chiropractor. So you're going to condition them to talk to other people this way. You're getting patients 3 years from today that you don't even know yet because you created a leader that has purpose. How cool is that? Who's that guy? So if you're watching the recording, man, go to the Secret 7-Figure Lifestyle Practice page. Give me a call on the phone. Go to 𝐸coachingllc.com. Book a breakthrough call. You can email me, call me. You know, I got a call from the woman in Canada, you know, she talked to a client of ours years ago. So funny. I'll just tell you a really quick story. Sean and Sarah Leatherman, they're in Florida, you know, and Sarah called up. My husband wants to quit chiropractic. He was a CBP chiropractor. And I'm like, dude, you can't. They're Christian. God created for you. Can't do it, man. And he would go to boot camp, sit there with his arm folded, so stubborn. And I used to do crisis intervention calls, like psychologist, suicide crisis intervention. These were, I don't want to be a chiropractor anymore. Crisis. That's almost like suicide, because it's suicide to your soul when it's your sole purpose. So we got them through that. They created a well over $1 million practice. I mean, changed their whole life. And then this one woman in Canada didn't even, no idea how to coaching group. They talked to her. And so she called me yesterday. So that's the thing, when you create leaders, they want to tell other people. And I hope that you see how different this model is. What we just went through doesn't exist in chiropractic, by the way. So, all right, you guys. Hey, man, there you go. We'll be sending out this recording. I would have your team listen to it. And just go home, create that goal list, get on the phone with me. I'll show you how to make this. Yeah, hey, no problem, Jared. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. And let's do this with 1,000%. Every person on here can grow their practice at least 50%. You could easily double your practice, but if you even did parts of it, but if you went 100% in, at least 50%, and I'll guide you through it. All right, you guys. Love you guys.